Pause. Tonight we are looking at something that affects many businesses but is often unseen by the public. It is a standard called ISO 5060. In simple terms, this standard is a set of rules. It is a guide for organizations that provide a certain type of service. The main goal is to ensure that the service is delivered safely, correctly, consistently every single time. Think of it as a recipe for quality. When followed, it helps a company build trust with its customers. It shows that the organization is committed to doing things the right way, not just some of the time, but all of the time. This standard matters because in a complex world, we all depend on services that are reliable, safe. ISO 5060 helps organizations look closely at how they work. It asks them to plan their processes, check their own performance, constantly look for ways to improve. The standard is structured into sections, which are called clauses. Each clause focuses on a specific part of the business, day-to-day operations on the ground. By following these clauses, a company can create a strong system for managing quality. This system is not just about catching mistakes after they happen. It is about preventing them from happening in the first place. It ensures that everyone on the team, from top to bottom, understands their role in maintaining high standards. The real power of ISO 5060 lies in its clarity and structure. It provides a common language and a shared framework that teams can use. When everyone is working from the same playbook, confusion is reduced, efficiency is increased. Customers, in turn, feel more confident. They know that the service they are receiving is backed by a system that has been internationally recognized for its focus on quality safety. It is a mark of professionalism. It tells the world that an organization takes its responsibilities seriously. Throughout this discussion, we will break down what this standard asks for, using plain English to make it clear for everyone. Understanding this standard is not just for experts or auditors. It is for anyone who wants to know how good organizations become great ones. It is about the deliberate, step-by-step process of building a culture of excellence. The standard provides the map. It requires commitment, discipline, willingness to be open to scrutiny and improvement. As we will see, adhering to ISO 5060 is not just about passing a test. It is about embracing a better way of working that benefits the company, its employees, the people it serves. Pause. To understand ISO 5060, it helps to know where it came from. Standards like this do not appear out of thin air. They are born from a specific need. ISO, the International Organization for Standardization, is the group behind it. A global body of national standards organizations from over 160 countries. Their job is to bring experts together to develop voluntary, consensus-based standards. Standards that support innovation, standards that provide solutions to global challenges. The process is careful and deliberate. Experts from an industry identify a need for common rules to ensure quality or safety. The development of ISO 5060 followed this path. It began when industry leaders and technical experts recognized a gap. They saw the need for unified quality management principles for a service sector. They formed a technical committee within ISO. The committee was tasked with drafting the new standard. Work started with research and discussion, gathering input worldwide. This included businesses. This included government agencies. This included consumer groups. The goal: a document technically sound, practical, and applicable across countries and cultures. The process took months, sometimes years, of negotiation and refinement. Once a draft was ready, it was circulated among ISO member countries for comments and voting. This is a critical step to secure broad international agreement. The text was reviewed, debated, and revised multiple times. The clauses we see today were shaped by this collaboration. Every word and requirement was carefully chosen to be clear and effective. After consensus, the standard was officially published. It became ISO 5060, a formal document organizations can use to guide their quality management systems. But the story does not end with publication. ISO standards are living documents. The world changes, Technology evolves, and new challenges emerge. ISO has a process for regularly reviewing its standards. Every few years, ISO 5060 will be reviewed by experts. Pause. Now, let's break down the standard itself, clause by clause. The first few clauses set the stage. They are the foundation upon which the entire quality system is built. Clause 1 is called Scope. This section is very direct. It simply defines what the standard covers and what it does not. It tells an organization whether this particular set of rules applies to their type of work. For example, it might state that the standard is for providers of a specific technical service. For example, it might state that the standard does not apply to manufacturers of a physical product. This clarity is important. It ensures that companies do not waste time trying to apply a standard that is not right for them. Clause 2 is titled Normative References. This sounds technical, but the idea is simple. It is a list of other essential documents you must have and use to apply ISO 5060 correctly. Think of it as a required reading list. For example, it might refer to another ISO standard that contains official definitions. You cannot fully comply with ISO 5060 without consulting these reference documents. It ensures everyone uses the same definitions and principles, a consistent language of quality. Next is Clause 3, Terms and Definitions. This section acts as a glossary. It provides precise definitions for the key terms used in the standard. Risk, audit, nonconformity. In everyday language, these vary. This clause eliminates ambiguity. It makes sure that when the standard says organization, everyone understands exactly what that includes. For example, customer could mean the end user, or it could mean internal departments that receive a service. This precision is vital for a successful audit and a functional system. Finally, two of the most critical foundational clauses. Clause 4 is Context of the organization. This requires a company to look outward and inward. It must understand external and internal issues that could affect its ability to achieve quality goals. Identify interested parties, customers, regulators, employees. Understand their needs and expectations. Example action. Create a list of laws and regulations that apply to your service. Clause 5. Leadership places responsibility on top management. Leaders must demonstrate commitment to quality. They must establish a quality policy. Set clear objectives. Provide the necessary resources. For example, the CEO signs and promotes the company's quality policy statement. Pause. With the foundation set, the next set of clauses moves from planning to doing. So let's walk through them. Clause 6 is called Planning. This is where the organization takes what it learned in Clause 4 and builds a concrete plan of action. It is about setting specific quality objectives and figuring out how to achieve them. A major part of this clause is addressing risks and opportunities. The standard requires you to identify what could go wrong and plan to prevent it, and identify what could go right and plan to capitalize on it. A simple example is creating a risk register for a new service launch, listing potential problems and the steps you will take to mitigate them. Clause 7, Support, deals with the resources needed to make the plan a reality. This is not just about money. It covers everything that supports the quality system. Having the right people with the right skills, the right infrastructure and equipment, a suitable work environment. It also covers communication and the control of documented information, like procedures and records. A key action here is to establish a training matrix that identifies what training each employee needs to do their job correctly and to keep records showing that the training was completed. It ensures the team is competent and prepared. This clause is about the actual process of delivering the service. It requires the organization to plan, implement, and control its operational processes. This means having clear procedures for how the work gets done, from the initial customer request to the final delivery. It includes checks and balances along the way to ensure that the service meets all requirements. For example, a service team might use a detailed checklist for every job to ensure no steps are missed. This is where the plans from Clause 6 become the actions of the frontline staff. The final two clauses focus on checking and improving. Clause 9 is performance evaluation. This is the check part of the cycle. The standard requires the organization to monitor, measure, analyze, and evaluate its quality performance. This is done through activities like internal audits, monitoring customer satisfaction, and reviewing process data. For instance, a company might conduct a monthly review of customer complaints to identify recurring issues. Clause 10, improvement, is the act part. When problems or weaknesses are found in Clause 9, this clause requires the organization to take action. It is about correcting nonconformities and continually seeking ways to make the system and its outcomes better. An example is implementing a new procedure to fix a problem found during an internal audit. Pause. Following the clauses of ISO 5060 is not just bureaucracy. It has a real, tangible impact on how a team works and on what the team can achieve. When a company commits to this standard, it is making a public statement about its values. It is telling its customers. It is telling its competitors. Quality is not an afterthought. It is a core part of the business strategy. This commitment creates a powerful sense of shared purpose within a team. Everyone understands the goal is not just to get the job done, but to get it done right. This clarity can significantly boost morale and motivation. People take pride in being part of an organization that strives for excellence. The structured approach of ISO 5060 brings order to complex processes. By breaking down the work into planned steps, controlled steps, and measured steps, this reduces the chances of human error. Teams are no longer relying on memory or informal habits. Instead, they follow documented procedures designed and tested. This consistency is crucial. A customer will receive the same high level of service no matter who performs the task. That reliability builds customer loyalty and a strong marketplace reputation. It helps turn first-time customers into lifelong partners. Furthermore, the standard fosters a culture of continuous improvement. The requirements in Clause 9, the requirements in Clause 10, compel a team to regularly examine its own performance with a critical eye. It encourages them to ask, how can we do this better? Regular self-assessment and correction prevents stagnation. It keeps the organization dynamic and adaptable. Instead of viewing problems as failures, the team sees them as opportunities to learn and grow. Pause. Navigating the path to ISO 5060 certification can seem daunting. The standard is detailed, and its requirements are precise. This is where a knowledgeable partner becomes invaluable. USQC is a firm that specializes in helping organizations implement standards like this one. They do not just hand you a book of rules, they work alongside your team, translating the language of the standard into practical, real-world actions. Their expertise lies in making the complex simple. They understand that most businesses need clear guidance, not more jargon. USQC's approach is calm, helpful, and supportive, ensuring your team feels confident at every stage of the process. For each clause of ISO 5060, USQC provides specific hands-on assistance. Clause 4, context of the organization. Consultants facilitate workshops to identify key stakeholders and analyze risks. Clause 5, leadership. They work directly with your management team to draft a quality policy that is meaningful and authentic. They provide templates and examples that are easy to adapt. This targeted support ensures the foundation of your quality management system is solid from the very beginning. As you move into the operational clauses, USQC's help becomes even more practical. Clause 7, support. They help you develop simple training materials and record-keeping systems that are easy for your staff to use. Clause 8, operation. They are experts at creating documentation that is effective for the user, not just for the auditor. Their goal is to build a system that works for you. one that makes your daily operations smoother and more efficient. Finally, USQC is a crucial ally when it comes to evaluation and improvement. Clause 9, Performance Evaluation. They can train your staff to conduct effective internal audits or even conduct them for you, providing an objective outside perspective. They help you set up simple metrics to track your performance. Clause 10, Improvement. They guide you through root cause analysis, helping you find and fix the source of problems, not just the symptoms. With USQC, ISO 5060 is no longer just a standard to be met. It becomes a powerful tool for building a stronger, more resilient, and more successful organization. The standard requires clear documentation from leadership policies to operational records. This creates a transparent trail of actions and decisions. It makes it easy to see who did what, when, and why. During an audit or review, this documentation shows the organization is in control. For the team, it means clear roles and responsibilities. Everyone knows what is expected of them and how their work contributes to the bigger picture. This level of organization and accountability is the hallmark of a truly world-class operation.